I have for you right here a list of Conor McGregor's UFC payout, pretty much the money that he's made in the UFC that I have a list for. Is there some other things he's made money off of? Yeah, absolutely. Other investments and sponsors, but I don't have that. But I have his pay from the UFC. And actually, I think you guys are going to like this because it shows that the UFC and the mixed martial arts is a performance-based sport. You have to perform. You have to be exciting. You have to do all these things to make money. Now, if you're just a champion and you're winning in kind of a boring way like GSP used to do, you're still going to make a lot of money, if you're popular. But in GSP, this was back before though too. They weren't maybe getting all the bonuses that they're getting now. But based on this, like looking at this breakdown of how Conor McGregor's kind of come up, it's almost like it really is a rags to riches story. And it just goes to show that if you want to make money, you need to perform. Like a lot of these guys are complaining about their pay. And yeah, of course they should make more money. We all should make more money. I mean, I should make $500,000 a year. You know what I mean? You should make it. Wouldn't that be great if we could all just be rich? And but it doesn't really work that way. But anyway, this is a breakdown. When he came in to the UFC, he was already a star, on YouTube, and just people watch his fights. And he was fighting Cage Warriors. He was really popular, over in Europe and in Ireland. But he came over and fought Marcus Brimage. His pay was $8,000 to show up and $8,000 to win. Okay, which would have been 16 grand because he won. There's more. Okay, now say $8,000 to show up, and say he lost. He would have got $8,000. That's not a lot of money, but see, he didn't lose. He won. So he made $16,000. Now here's the thing. This is his debut. He won knockout of the night on that card. 60 grand. Making a total of $76,000. Totally new to the UFC. Like I said, he could have showed up. It could have even been a close fight. And he would have lost and got $8,000. But because he won and because of the performance, he ended up with $76,000. And then he goes on to fight Max Holloway. Max Holloway was a pretty respected name at the time. And he got $12,000 to show and $12,000 to win. He got $24,000 for that fight total. He got hurt in that fight, as we all know. Then he fought Diego Brandao. Now this was the main event, if my memory serves me correct. He got $16,000 to show and $16,000 to win. Okay, and of course we all know he showed up and he did win, and he got $50,000 performance of the night. And again, this is a headline card. If he lost, he only going to got 16 grand. But based on his performance, based on his winning and the performance, he turned that 16, and now it's $82,000 total for that fight. Now, if this isn't sounding like much, wait. He's working his way up. That was his third fight in the UFC. And now he's on to his fourth fight. Wait, did he fight... Oh. Did he fight Seaver first or Poirier? I don't remember. Well, anyway, Poirier... I got Poirier and Seaver here. I can't remember which fight came next after the Brandao, if it was Seaver or Poirier. I think it was Dennis Seaver. Okay, so now this is where he starts to go up. Look, he's had 3 fights, beats Diego Brandao. That was that big headline, the big main event in Ireland. I mean, it was a huge deal. And he goes on to fight Dennis Seaver, unless it was Poirier, but I got Seaver. I think it was Seaver. He got $85,000 just to show up. $85,000 to win, and it came out to be $220,000 for that fight. And now I've got Dustin Poirier, $75,000 to show up and $75,000 to win, and $50,000 performance of the night, which was $200,000. Maybe he fought Poirier before he fought Seaver. I can't remember. Then he goes on to fight Chad Mendes. Now he's a pretty big star at this point, you know, and he was supposed to be fighting Jose Aldo, as we all know. He goes on to fight Chad Mendes. This is where he starts getting paid more. $500,000 to show up. And $50,000 in performance of the night. Okay, now this is more of a sure thing financially for him. You know, they're just like, you know, it's none of this half and half. It's like he was $5,000 to show up, so he was going to make a lot of money either way. And I don't really kind of like to see that, though, guys. I kind of liked it. I kind of like the half, and then if you win, you get you get your other half, because it's just so much more incentive to get out there and try and win the fight first of all, and then also to perform, put on a good performance. An example of this is Nick Diaz versus Anderson Silva. You know, as good as Nick looked in that fight, he just showed up. I remember Nick Diaz was retired, right? He just showed up and he's going to get a big payday. You know what I mean? He's not going to say no to that. And I don't really like to see that. I kind of like the more the performance based. It keeps the guys hungry. And also, now here's the Reebok thing. This in the Chad Mendes fight, $500,000 to show, $50,000 more in performance of the night. And he also, from the Reebok sponsorship, he got another $40,000. He made, for the Chad Mendes fight, he made $580,000. So, then he goes on to fight Jose Aldo. It was $500,000 to show up, and he won again. He won $50,000 performance of the night bonus. So he's got a lot of bonuses here, and then he got another $40,000 from his Reebok sponsorship. He made $590,000. Okay, so the total of, oh man, I had it written down. I don't have it written down here. The total came out to be like $1,700,000 that he's made, and that's not including any of his outside sponsorships. With I don't know how much money he's making from other sponsorships outside of this, but you know, I mean, regardless of what it is, he's made $1,700,000. And the breakdown is kind of cool how he came up, man. It's just, you know, he kind of had to work his way up into that like, to where you're a big star. Like, actually, I think in the one of these fights, the last person at Uriah Faber fight, they paid Uriah Faber, he won, I forget who he fought, they paid him $300,000 just because he's such a big name. You know what I mean? It's probably like kind of the same thing, just $3,000 guaranteed. And you know, so you got to work your way up in the UFC. You got to make a name for yourself. But it's kind of cool that even if you don't necessarily have that big name, if you win, you get more money. And if you get a performance tonight, you get a big bonus, which, you know, when he fought Marcus Brimage, he only made $8,000 to show up and $8,000 to win, $16,000, but he got a $60,000 bonus. Now that doesn't look like much, the bonus is when you're making like $500,000, but for a new guy coming in the UFC, that's huge, man. When he fought Marcus Brimage, he made $76,000. I mean, and anybody, that's their first fight in the UFC. So that anybody come into the UFC, if they can win and put on a great performance, they can, boom, make a lot of money, boom, make a big payday, and then they use that to negotiate their next fight. It's as simple as that. So, you know, I mean, all in all, I think the UFC, I mean, obviously they could pay these guys more money, but it does go to show that you know what, man, you gotta be a good employee. You gotta be an employee. You can't just sit back and complain. A lot of these guys just sit back and complain, but you know, heck, man, that's pretty good, man. I mean, seriously, Conor McGregor could just retire right now. He's not going to do that because he's literally taken no damage really in his fights as far as like brain damage? I can't say no, but most of these guys haven't even touched him. And, he's made a bunch of money. And, I'm sure he's going to keep fighting now. He'll probably do like everybody else. He'll be getting paid more money to lose fights when he gets older than he made winning these fights. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it works. But anyway, guys, just a little glimpse of Conor McGregor's rise and his pay and the pay structure. And I kind of think, like I said, I wish they would keep it more incentive to win. Because there's a lot of guys, man, they have not won, they're big names, but they haven't won fights in years. I mean, when's the last time BJ Penn won a fight? Like, seriously, it's been years and years. Same thing goes for Nick Diaz. He hasn't won a fight since he beat BJ Penn. That's got to be 6 years ago since he won a fight. I know these guys were both gone, but BJ Penn's coming back, and just, I'd rather see it, these guys want to come back and make some money, come back and win a fight. Come back and put on a performance of the night. Do something like that. I don't like to see people just getting paid. It's like you're guaranteed to get paid. You could just show up and, like Nick Diaz, stand in the middle of the ring. Just stand in the middle of the ring, joke around, and make a bunch of money. And I don't like to see that. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. And I don't mean Nick Diaz. That was entertaining. I mean in general. Like, I want to see guys be hungry to win. That's why Conor McGregor has been so exciting, because the way that pay structure was, he had to be exciting. He had to be serious to work his way up in the UFC. And it's kind of interesting to see how that's all broken down. I'll see you guys later.